So today I'm going to talk about the work of the British artist Richard Long and how his work has inspired me over the years. And he's been working since the 1960s, and his work is mainly based in the outdoors. And I discovered his work when I was at college in the 90s, and I found it very inspiring. And there's a number of concepts in his work that just opened up my idea of what art is and how to go about art. I put 3 of those ideas together in this video, and that's what I'm going to talk about. Today's pretty grim weather. It's grey, raining, windy. We're definitely going to be testing the capabilities of the DJI mic with its small wind jammer, see whether it can cope. So if there's a lot of wind noise, that's because it's really windy. So I've got this lovely book on Richard Long. It's called Stones, Clouds, Miles, a Richard Long reader. And there's not much in it that Richard Long himself has said. The whole book is based around his career, and then the articles and the exhibition catalogues of his work over many, many years. Because he doesn't talk much about his work, really. He does talk about it a bit, but not much. So you find out about his work and all sorts of different ways of looking at it through other people's articles and opinions. And it's a beautiful book. So I can recommend that book, and I've got a link down below if you want to get yourself a copy. So the first thing that I learned from Richard Long is that the journey itself is the work, is the art. So his work is exactly that. His work is based around going on walks. He draws lines on maps, and then he goes along those lines. And they can be anywhere in the world. And along the way, he does all sorts of things. With the materials he finds, he might make sculptures, or he might just describe the experience of the walk. Or he might exhibit maps of the walk or photographs. So all sorts of outcomes from going on walks. But they're not really the work. They're the way of describing the work. The work is the journey of being out in the landscape. And it's quite interesting because you can't really experience the work. A couple of years ago, I saw a piece of work by Richard Long in Tate Modern in London. And it's called In the Clouds. It's a print of just some words, like a description of a walk he went on in 1991 in Scotland. And it's a beautiful print. And when you read those words, you can get an idea of the experience of taking that walk. But it's not the same as actually taking the walk. It's a shadow, a ghost of the walk. A Nerf gun pellet. While I'm out recording, or I'm in the studio making music, that is the work, that is the art. And what I get at the end of it doesn't really matter. Sometimes I'll get something that I can use and make an album out of, or share. Sometimes I won't get anything. But that doesn't really matter, because making the work is the work, and that's what's important. That's how you learn. That's where the journey is. That's where the love is. So the second thing that I learned from Richard Long's work is to trust in the process. As I say, his work involves drawing lines on maps. I don't know what his motivation is for drawing those lines and in those particular places and planning out those particular trips. But it seems that that's just a process. Something interests him about that idea. He doesn't know what kind of work he's going to make. He doesn't know what materials he's going to find along the way. The end point could be lots of different things. And I like that idea, that you start something, you have an idea, a process. Like at the moment, I'm just using the modular every day. I don't know what kind of music that I'm going to be making. It could be beat driven type music, kind of techno type music. It could be ambient. It could be drones. It could be abstract. I don't know. I'm leaving it open. The process is just to turn on the modular every day and make something without any goals in mind, without any structure, without any ideas. Just a process of turning on the machines, spending time with them, reacting to what happens, how I feel at the time. And Richard Long also taught me to look at materials in a different way. So his materials are things that he finds on his walks. They can be stones, sticks, mud from rivers. Sometimes he clears tracks. The absence of stones is the sculpture. But he pretty much uses whatever he finds along the way. And that taught me to think that everything is possible material for work. And I've taken that idea into my sound work. So it doesn't really matter. If it's a sound, I can use it possibly in some way. It doesn't have to be a traditionally nice sound or recognizable. It could be noise, it could be unwanted sound, it could be wind noise. I could make a piece from wind noise. I'm going to go through the woods now. When I first started field recording, I was looking for traditional field recording sounds, nice sounds, rivers, birds, the sea. But as time went on, I realized that it was quite hard to find those things. And more often than not, I was getting aeroplane noise or traffic noise, all sorts of unwanted sounds. But slowly I learned to accept those as valid as well. And that's what I mean really, is that whatever sounds you find, whatever materials you find, you can use anything you want. Richard Long makes beautiful paintings, hand paintings, just from mud from a river. So that's a few ideas, creative ideas, that I've learned from the British sculptor, Richard Long. He's been a big inspiration to me over the years, and I can definitely recommend that book on his work. It's a great book to dip into, just for a bit of inspiration. So I hope that was useful. You can find more about my work on my sites, Patreon, Substack, links down below. If you like this video, then YouTube will think that's good and show it to more people. So that's it for today, and I'll see you next time. Cheers, bye.